Well, our methodology is fairly unorthodox. We look at price somewhat, but we look mainly at momentum when we measure price in relation to certain moving averages, not overlaying them on the price chart, but oscillating the price versus where is it in relation to, let's say, the 3-quarter moving average or 3-month moving average. So we create charts that give us different visual images of the trend structure of what's going on, other than what price might be saying. Well, frankly, what happened in November, gold broke out to a level that we thought was significant resumption level, meaning, okay, I'm tired of this congestion zone baloney that I've been in for a year and a half now. I want to re-engage to the upside. But at the time that it broke out over a certain, we had 1825 was one of our numbers, and it cleared it, went up to 1879. We also had a number for silver, and our number for silver was 2536 weekly close. Well, if you go back and look at the peak weekly close in November, it stopped at 2534.40, 25,344. Okay, penny and a half below our number, didn't close above it, and then immediately dropped. So silver did not validate what gold had indicated on the same metric, the 3-quarter moving average situation. Nor did, for instance, GDX. We had a number for GDX at 3590 plus. It stopped at 3508 and pulled back. Now, what's neat about those two markets, the miners and silver, in terms of re-engaging to the upside, is that those trigger numbers that they set up got so close to them on momentum and then pull back. Therefore, it's set like building a bridge, so to speak, building a structure. It's set a level that is now going to drop next quarter because those averages, 3-quarter moving average, for example, in silver and GDX, is going to drop some. Why? Because we're lower than we were 3 quarters ago. Okay. The breakout levels on silver instead of 2536 is now going to be around 2440 weekly close, which if you look at a price chart, doesn't mean anything. Why? Because we're up in the mid-25s, so mid-24s doesn't mean much, but for us, it's a major breakout. It suggests to us that if we see silver do that and see like GDX get up to 3440, those other components of the gold-silver complex are saying now we're in agreement with gold. The question now is, though, gold pulled back sharply after that seemingly false breakout, which wasn't validated by silver or the miners. So it was a breakout that we acknowledged, but we didn't endorse. Okay, it pulled back sharply enough to where it hit some numbers a week ago that bothered us. It suggested there's the potential, and we emphasized a big question mark. We expressed some doubt, which we normally don't do. Okay, that gold might have a sharp sell-off here. If it's going to do it, it has to do it soon. In other words, you can't just have that sharp drop we had a week or two ago and then just start to gel. If you do, like we're doing now, this week, we're gelling. In fact, we're steady as a rock. You get into next week and we still haven't broken down sharply. We're not gonna, I don't think. I think all the gold is doing is saying, oh, I broke out prematurely. Now I'm going to wait for my sister and the miners to agree with me. And once we get into next quarter, which is 12 trading days away, all the numbers will shift. And we think we could get a unison type of signal from gold reasserting itself again back above certain levels. Silver, the number I gave you, it's an estimate right now, but it won't change much. And the miners all saying, okay, we're with you now. And at that point, we cross those numbers. I think the entire complex is saying what we've seen since last summer's high, August high, is a lot of violent turmoil up and down. And at the worst point, gold was down 20% from its high. I mean, think about it. It took them 9 months to give it 20% pullback. The S&P's done that 5 times during its bull market and done it 2 months, and now gold's sort of almost in the middle of that range, just below 1800. And silver's, in the lower half of the range it's been in for the last year or so, which is roughly 21 and a half up to 30. So it's trading 22 and a half. Maybe it'll be 23, 24 here shortly. So we think that congestion zone will end if we can cross those numbers. And it's going to be a next quarter event, which means start watching closely as we get into January for those numbers to be triggered. And if that happens, I think that whole complex wakes up again and we start to move back to where the price guys who are only looking at GDX price chart or silver price chart will say, hey, it's reborn. What's that going to take? Well, you can look at a silver chart, go back to last summer, and you'll see there were a couple rally highs where look just at the weekly closes. And the weekly closes peaked around 28. You get back above 28, I think the price guys are going to start to wake up and say, oh, it's born again. We think it's born again somewhere just in the mid-24s. So anyway, we're watching very carefully. That's what we think is going on there.
Michael, I interviewed you first earlier this year, was my first interview with you. And you said at that time, and you've said on other shows as well, that we could see $8,000 gold by the end of next year and maybe $200 silver. Is that still within the realm of possibility or have you adjusted that?
No, I've not adjusted it. If we reemerge here, what I'm looking at are those trigger numbers. We engage those quarterly momentum trigger numbers. It tells me that this congestion zone was, in fact, a congestion zone. It was not a top. And that all these metals and the miners are going to be reborn and move up out of these congestion zones.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.